My name is Noah, and you're listening to Product Journey. Another solo pod with me. It's just Noah here. So this is going to be a fun episode actually, because a lot of things have been going on. So I have some updates for you on how things have been going with Potion. And then I'll kind of talk a little bit about some ideas for the future of what I'm going to kind of do next. So it shouldn't be too long, maybe like 15 minutes, but hope you enjoyed this and hopefully it's valuable in some way. And to start out, I reached kind of a big milestone. I just shared this on Twitter and it's been really fun and exciting to see, all the replies and responses. It's always nice and encouraging, but I reached 5K MRR with Potion. So I'm pretty excited about that. Pretty big milestone, especially since, the first 6 months of this year, Potion really kind of flatlined. It kind of plateaued and I just wasn't making much progress. And kind of like June this year, I think, is when it kind of started going up and I started working on Potion again. And so that was kind of like really the turning point, I think, for Potion. There was times in the month I was hitting around 8% growth a month. And then right now I'm sitting at like 4% growth. So it's definitely better. I'd like it to be higher. Like I'd like to try to get to like that 10% area. Which would be good, but I did, interesting enough, I asked this week on Twitter, like what's like the normal growth for a startup? And there was, here, I'll pull that up to see if I can see, but there's different ranges, right? Like based on where you're at and how big your SaaS is. But a guy over from Chart Mogul, they said they kind of did some research on this. And so if you're a startup that's under 10K MRR, then the average is somewhere around like 4.4% growth. If you're 10 to 50K MRR, then it goes down to like 3% growth is average. And then, pretty much up above 100K, it's around like 2%. Yeah, about around 2% growth a month. And so I guess I'm kind of normal then because I'm at like 4%, at least right now. I was a little higher than that. So I guess that's normal. It kind of felt a little bit slow maybe to me, but that puts you at around 50% growth for a year, which isn't bad for a business to grow 50% in 1 year. Obviously, it'd be awesome to go higher than that. My goal was to kind of reach 10K MRR by March of next year. So I only have 5 months or so to hit that. And I would definitely have to kind of speed up the growth to be able to do that. And I have some ideas for how I can do that at the end of the podcast that I'll get to, which should be fun. So that was kind of the first thing. So thanks for everyone for kind of supporting me on my way, doing this journey. I think it definitely helps, since I'm a solo founder, having just people that are also building businesses that I've kind of gotten to know through like this podcast. That has helped a lot, like interviewing other founders, kind of creating and starting those relationships. And then like on the community on Twitter has been really beneficial just to have other people that are kind of in the same boat as I am that I can talk to. So I'm not just like all alone. I remember when I first started doing businesses, I didn't really know anyone that was trying to make online product businesses like this. And I kind of felt like I was all by myself, except for maybe a friend that I was building it with. And you'd kind of just launch it out into the ether and just have no idea how to find a single customer. And now, the last 3 years, I've been a lot more active online and in communities and on Twitter. I've just gotten to know a lot more people that do this kind of thing, and also figure out how to find where customers are and stuff like that, which is important. So yeah, that's been good. I think I was trying to think what made, obviously I started working on Potion again, kind of this summer. So that's obviously helped, but what were the things that really helped Potion start to grow again? And so I kind of got it down to two things. One is I got a really good affiliate. This just out of the blue, this guy that has a really, good website based around Notion, templates and content. He just did this whole blog post on Potion and basically just talked about how to create a website with Potion. And he started ranking really well. He's in the top rankings for different keywords. And I just started getting a ton of people to my website from that affiliate. So they're doing really well. That was one of the things. It's kind of like a new way to have customers find me. So that was awesome. So that's one of the ways that Potion started growing. And then the second one is when I started working on Potion again this summer, there was like a couple issues that customers would talk about. And I can't even remember exactly what the issues were, but there were some issues that people would face when building their websites. A percentage of people would face, and those people would then end up canceling or not continuing because of that. And so I fixed some of those things that were dropping people off, and that definitely helped. So those were like kind of the two main things, and even that one, that helped with like churn. So my churn has gone down since I started working on Potion again. So yeah, I think those are the kind of things that have helped Potion to start growing again. I would guess me being more active on Twitter about it, like that's pretty much what I'm talking about, like sharing about. So I did, start to see an uptick from there. So I would guess that that's my other, reason for why it started to grow again. But yeah, it's definitely interesting to kind of look back at that. And I could probably dig more into that to really figure out, like looking at the data to really see like, okay, what are the things that happened that has made it start to grow again? But I think obviously like, I worked on version 2 of Potion, and I've gotten lots of good feedback from that. Customers seem to really like it. It's really just a lot better polished. It feels like a lot better, more professional product, and there's just more you can do with it, more features, and so people seem to like that a lot. So yeah, that's been good. So kind of moving on to what I've been doing this last week, some of the updates I've been making. Well, I've really been focusing mostly on SEO, which has been quite fun because there's a lot to learn about it. I wrote probably like 4 or 5 posts this last week. So I've been writing a lot, which I'm not used to doing that. I still don't feel like I'm a great writer. But so like 3 of the posts were actually like alternative posts. I feel like these are some of the lowest hanging fruit that you can always do is write these alternative posts, which basically it's like, alternative to your competitor. And so this is something that people searching for products a lot of times will do. They're like, alternative to the one product that I know of, and I want to see what are the other options in this space. And so I basically just picked my top 3 competitors and made alternative posts to them that basically, I did some research and how I differentiate, how Potion's different, and made a post kind of highlighting the good things about Potion compared to those tools. So I did that. I think those will hopefully be valuable. I mean, the nice things about that is, the person that's reading that, is in a decision process of picking a website builder. Like that's why they're there. They're there because they're like, oh, I saw this one tool and I want to use it, but I want to make sure I'm using the best one. So I'll go search, and if they land on my page, that's great. So I think that's really a great one to start with. So I wrote those this week, and then I did 2 longer posts. So one of my goals with some of the SEO, just through doing the research, is figuring out that like basically I need to be like the hub, like the website that's like the hub for Notion websites, of like for info about Notion websites. And obviously that makes sense because Potion is, a Notion website builder. So I made like this big resource that shows like pretty much all the info that you would need to know about creating a website with Notion. So it has kind of like a little how-to section. It has an example section of different websites to kind of inspire people, different categories of websites that are built with Notion. It has like a pros and cons list of, websites that you should build with Notion, why you might not want to, like the cons of it, and then has like some templates and a lot of internal linking to, it's a lot of internal linking to other pages on my website. And the hope is that this Notion websites kind of resource will get really picked up well by Google and get on the first page. And, of course, at the end, I kind of have a call to action to try out Potion. So, it might take time for this to rank in Google, but if that happens, that would be amazing. And that's kind of the goal of that piece. Let's see, I also wrote kind of like just a general like how to create Notion websites that's going to go be a guest post for another creator in the Notion space that has a website around Notion templates. And so I kind of just reached out to them as like, hey, because I've known this creator for a little while, and they've actually used Potion in the past, and I was just like, hey, could I write like a post on your website? Actually, no, I think I first asked like if they could write something or if they'd be interested in joining our affiliate program. And they're like, actually, we're kind of busy. Would you want to do a guest post? So I was like, yeah, well, I'll do it. The main reason for this, and from what I'm learning from the SEO stuff, is that, having links to your website is kind of the biggest thing you can do, having backlinks. And so me doing a guest post, I was able to like link all the different parts of creating a Notion website, and link to my website. And so that seemed to be, like hopefully that will be another thing that just really, gets those SEO juices flowing, and kind of tells Google like, hey, the Potion website is the website for websites. If you're searching anything about websites, like this should be, put this to the top page, please. So that was good. And then I also did another guest post. This one was more just general. It was just like another entrepreneur that has like a entrepreneur stories kind of website. And so he asked me to do a guest post there, and I just did one kind of more generally about like the journey of building business and some things I've learned along the way. But of course, in that you also get to link to your business and stuff too. So always kind of take advantage of those opportunities, I think. So yeah, we'll see. It's hard to know. I mean, this is what I think is hard about SEO. And, I'm not used to marketing and doing that kind of stuff. Is it just the amount of time it takes to get feedback just seems way longer. It's like you kind of put this post out into the world, and it takes like a month or maybe months for Google to like pick it up. And so, yeah, that's just kind of like, I'm used to a quick iterative loop of, building a feature, writing the code, putting out there, and then your customer's like, oh yeah, this is cool, this is great. And you can do that iterative loop like within a day, like you can do that really fast. And with writing content and SEO, it's just like, it takes kind of forever. And I'm just not usually that patient. And so it's kind of hard to like be like, all right, just keep doing it, even if I don't know what the result of all that work and effort is going to be. So that's been a little interesting. I'm still trying to figure out how that works and what it should look like. But yeah, so that's good. Another thing on the SEO front is I had someone reach out, I think that's been following for a while on Twitter, SM Salman. He is basically starting an SEO agency, and he's just starting. And so he's like, hey, how about I start by doing 2 posts for free for you? And I was like, sure, that sounds great. So he's doing that, and I think in return, like, if I have a good experience, like I'll do a testimonial or something like that to help him kind of get started. So I thought that was really cool. Like that's obviously helpful for me, since I am in the middle of trying to build all this SEO stuff too. But yeah, it's been fun learning all this stuff and kind of trying to figure it out. I have been thinking like, should I switch over to maybe paying an agency of some sort to make content for me? I found like 2 different ones. One that maybe is on the cheaper side, like $400 a month, where they write some like maybe 1 or 2 posts for you a month. Another one was like $800 a month, and they do 2 or 3 posts for you a month. And they do, they do the research, the SEO research, and figuring out keywords and things they should try to hit as well. So I don't know, maybe I should play around with some of that in the future. I'm not sure. But yeah, that's kind of an idea. Curious if anyone listening has had experience with that. And if you have, definitely let me know if you think it's worth it or something I should do. Because, it just does take time to build out this content, do the research. And it's just like trying to figure out, is that the best use of my time? I mean, it could be, because now that I'm thinking about like, I think really marketing is like definitely my main focus right now. It's like getting more traffic, getting more people to Potion. I feel like any like new features I add, just they're not necessarily going to add that much value maybe, like, and it's definitely not fixing my problem, just getting more people to see the product and grow it faster. That's at least how I'm thinking about it right now, just really trying to focus on the marketing. Which kind of comes to my next step of what I've been working on recently, is making some partnerships with some affiliates. So I have like 2 other people that are writing some posts about Potion, and they kind of joined the affiliate program where they earn 30% from all revenue that they send to Potion. So that's a pretty good deal, hopefully for them, but also it's a pretty good deal for me. Like they're doing some of that content work. They're putting it on their websites that have, they're in the Notion space. So I think that is really just one of the other great ways that I can continue to grow Potion. So we'll see how those posts go, and hopefully there's some growth that comes from that. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it on kind of what I've been doing front updates there. I guess the next step, next thing I want to talk about is kind of what I'm doing next. I guess this is just another thing I did, so maybe we aren't done with that. I did just update my prices actually today. So I just increased my pricing a little bit for Potion, not a ton, I'm kind of just like iteratively updating the prices and just increasing them a little bit at a time. This is actually the 4th time I believe that I've increased the pricing. And I guess my thinking around that is I don't want to just like increase it or like double it or just really go too high to where it causes problems and people just like stop, trials just stop and stuff. People aren't converting. So I know I can definitely be charging more, and that's kind of what all bootstrappers and SaaS people say, right? It's like charge more. And so I just, trying to slowly charge more over time and just kind of see how it goes slowly. So I did do that just today, and so it'll be interesting to see kind of the differences from that. Hopefully it makes more money. I mean, that's kind of the goal of increasing prices. Yeah, so what's next is really a freemium plan. And I kind of need to think more about this too. But I know for my competitors that a freemium plan is like pretty much they're all doing freemium plans. And I'm still on a 7-day free trial with credit card up front. And so I'm thinking of basically trying out the freemium plan. The freemium plan would be one website where you can't have a custom domain. You have to have a Potion subdomain. And it would have, like the little label in the corner that says like built with Potion. But I mean, the main thing that I think will push people to a paid plan is just wanting to have their custom domain. And I mean, that's like the whole kind of main reason for building a Notion, Potion website anyways, is you want your own custom domain, you want your own branding. So I think that will be enough to hopefully push people to the paid tier. So yeah, I guess the question is like how many people would actually want to just make a freemium website then? I don't know, I guess. There definitely is maybe some use cases where people are okay having like the Potion subdomain and stuff like that. But more than anything, maybe it's just like an easier onboarding experience for people where they just kind of get started really quickly making their website and then they just set up the credit card and pay later. But it is, it's definitely something to test. I'm not like completely sold on it. And so I think my plan is to basically just try it out, try the freemium plan, see how it goes for a month or two. And then if it's not going well, maybe switch back. And definitely when I'm coding it out, like I want to try to make it, like I might even make it where I just can click a switch or, switch a Boolean flag and just change it back or something like that, just so I can easily go back and forth. And there might even be, well, I guess I don't necessarily need to A/B split test it because I've already been doing the, just the trial way that I've been doing it for a long time. But I mean, that could be interesting too, just like try to split test it to see which one performs better kind of going forward. I should probably think more about that. But yeah, so that's kind of the plan, is to build out that free plan. It shouldn't take me too long, maybe a couple days. So I'm hoping to complete that next week and launch it. And then the next thing is kind of going back to another big marketing thing. Well, I mean, the free plan is kind of a big marketing thing. Like it's kind of part of the marketing. Like hopefully people are sharing these websites and people see like, oh, that was built with Potion, and then they go and check it out themselves. So that is, I mean, it is kind of a big marketing play too there. But kind of my next big marketing thing, which I'm really excited about, I think this could be really big, is basically some engineering as marketing ideas. I think, Notion has a pretty big community. I think there's like 20 to 30 million Notion users. And so kind of the idea is if I can make a free little tool, little widget, something like that for Notion users that is valuable, hopefully has a little bit of a viral kind of effect to it that allows that, they kind of share around and stuff like that, that then people kind of just find out about Potion that way. Like it'd be a free thing, but in the corner it'd be like, built by Potion or something like that. Then people are clicking on it, finding, coming back to the Potion website, So that's kind of the idea with building these kind of engineering as marketing tools, to really just get a ton of traffic coming in and them finding out about Potion. So my main idea to build is kind of this whole kind of idea around Notion widgets. And this first kind of came from actually doing like the SEO research, which is great. Like I was looking in Ahrefs and seeing like, wow, there's lots of searches for Notion widgets. And you know, Notion widgets are basically like the little embeddables. It could be kind of any little embeddable that you can embed into Notion. But that's searched a lot. You know, a lot of people are looking for that kind of thing when they're using Notion, little add-ons and things like that. And so the idea is to basically make, well, starting out is to make like a directory for Notion widgets and little like how-tos for how you can add these Notion widgets to Notion. So for example, there could be like a page on Spotify, like how you can add a Spotify song to your Notion through a Notion widget, or how you could add a podcast player to your Notion widget, and kind of almost creating like this kind of like how-to guide of all these different widgets, how you can add them. It's kind of like a generative SEO kind of approach, because a lot of the content will kind of be similar, because you know, it's not that hard to embed a widget or an embeddable into Notion, and it's a pretty similar process once you've copied, you know, the widget link from wherever you're wanting to get the widget from. So that's kind of the idea, kind of make this directory. But then what I can do is start to create little widgets as well that are valuable, and kind of just add them to the list, but they're also my own widgets created, you know, with Potion. And the first one of these would probably be like a custom code widget, where you can just like add your own code if you know how to code, and then Potion would host the widget for you, and you just copy paste it into your Notion. And that's where I'm saying like we have the little thing in the corner, it's like built with Potion. But that I think is the first one, because then you can do a lot with that. Like you can use any iframe or anything, any code that you just copy from some other tool, and then you can paste it into this little, you know, Notion widget and add it. So it allows you to create a lot of widgets, or add a lot of embeds into your Notion workspace. And so I think it's gonna be really valuable, and hopefully it's something that doesn't cost me or take much time or cost me much to like host all these little widgets. And then, yeah, so that's kind of the idea. But I also have some ideas for some widgets that I think could maybe go viral in the Notion community. We'll see. That would be cool. And I'll have to talk about some of these ideas once I get closer to them. But kind of my thinking is just make these little viable widgets that I can add on to this directory, this list, and hopefully those will be getting searched for, and then hopefully like people are sharing them because they're valuable, and through that whole process they will kind of learn about Potion and like, oh, maybe I do need a website, and then they go there. So it's kind of like a very like getting a lot of traffic kind of top of funnel ideas. And I think what I'm going to do is actually put all this directory, all these widgets and stuff on like a widgets.potion.so domain. So it'd be on a subdomain of Potion, so I can build all this in, and you know, it'd kind of have like banners and things within there that's like, you know, talks about Potion. Do you need a website? I don't know, some kind of almost like an ad kind of banner for Potion within all these widgets and widget directory and stuff. So hopefully that makes sense. Curious if you guys have any thoughts about that. Again, it's kind of going for like the engineering as marketing approach, getting a ton of SEO, getting a ton of traffic. And I think it could really be something, you know, if it works, it could be what brings Potion to the next level and helps me to grow a lot faster. I think the other valuable thing with it is, you know, when you release like any like little product or something like these, you can launch it on Product Hunt, share it around on different websites, and it gives you something to talk about that generates a lot of traffic. And I mean, I could even potentially do this for each like little widget that I build. I don't know, maybe they'd get annoyed with that on Product Hunt, but you could do those kind of things, which then just gets a lot more eyeballs on your website, which then hopefully a lot more people would learn about Potion through these little launches and these little widgets. So yeah, curious to hear what you guys think about that. But it is fun to have like little projects like that to work on. Like I think it's something that will use maybe my skills better, because I'm not like a content person or a marketing person per se, but building little tools, like that's in my wheelhouse, doing software development, and it's all for marketing purposes. So I am pretty excited about these ideas, and hopefully it can really take Potion to the next level. So thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you in another podcast.